The Red Ball Express was a daring World War II supply operation that kept Allied forces advancing after D-Day. Over 6,000 trucks, many driven by African American soldiers, delivered vital supplies through treacherous conditions. This unsung effort was crucial to victory, showcasing courage, teamwork, and the resilience of soldiers under fire. As the first light of dawn touched the horizon over Normandy in August 1944, a new kind of battle was beginning, not with rifles and artillery, but with wheels and engines. This was the Red Ball Express, a massive supply operation that became the lifeline of the Allied forces following the D-Day invasion. Over the next 3 months, it would deliver vital supplies across war-torn France, enabling the relentless push against German forces. Predominantly operated by African American soldiers, the Red Ball Express was a testament to determination, ingenuity, and the critical importance of logistics in modern warfare. The aftermath of the D-Day landings presented the Allies with a paradox of success. Their rapid advance across France had outpaced their supply lines. Frontline units were moving faster than food, fuel, ammunition, and medical supplies could reach them. The traditional methods of transportation, railways and bridges, had been destroyed by both Allied bombing and German sabotage. The solution was to create a non-stop convoy system using trucks to transport supplies from the beaches of Normandy to the advancing armies hundreds of miles inland. On August 25, 1944, the Red Ball Express was born. Named after the red discs that denoted priority freight on American railroads, the operation established designated routes exclusively for supply convoys. The main route stretched from the supply depots near the beaches to forward logistics bases, covering a round-trip distance of approximately 700 miles. To maximize efficiency, one-way traffic was enforced, eastbound roads for loaded trucks heading to the front, and westbound roads for empty vehicles returning for more supplies. The operation required an enormous number of vehicles and personnel. At its peak, the Red Ball Express utilized over 6,000 trucks and employed around 23,000 drivers and mechanics. Nearly 75% of these drivers were African American soldiers, serving in segregated units as per the policies of the U.S. Army at the time. Despite facing discrimination and limited opportunities elsewhere in the military, these soldiers became the backbone of one of the most critical logistical efforts of the war. Private First Class Robert Johnson was one such driver. Hailing from rural Georgia, Johnson had enlisted with hopes of fighting on the front lines. Instead, he found himself behind the wheel of a GMC CKW truck, the iconic Deuce and a Half. Initially disheartened, he soon realized the significance of his role. "We were the ones keeping the troops moving," Johnson later recalled. "Without supplies, the fight would come to a halt." The convoys operated around the clock. Drivers worked grueling 16-hour shifts, often getting only a few hours of sleep before hitting the road again. Blackout conditions at night meant they drove without headlights, relying on the faint glow of the vehicle ahead or improvised markers like painted white hoods to maintain visibility. The roads were hazardous, narrow, winding, and damaged by the ravages of war. Potholes, debris, and the remnants of destroyed vehicles were constant obstacles. Enemy action remained a threat, though the Luftwaffe's presence had diminished. German aircraft occasionally strafed convoys, and the risk of ambush by retreating enemy forces lingered. Drivers were instructed to keep moving during attacks, as stopping made them vulnerable targets. In one notable incident near the town of Chartres, a convoy led by Corporal James Thompson came under artillery fire. Demonstrating remarkable composure, Thompson maintained speed and order, guiding his men through the danger zone with minimal losses. Mechanical issues were another significant challenge. The relentless pace allowed little time for proper maintenance. Trucks were pushed to their limits, carrying loads exceeding their recommended capacity. Tires blew out frequently, and engines overheated. Field repairs became a necessary skill. Mechanics set up makeshift workshops along the routes, and drivers like Johnson learned to perform quick fixes to keep their vehicles running. Scavenging parts from wrecked or abandoned trucks was common practice. The camaraderie among the drivers was a vital source of strength. They shared not only the burdens of the job, but also moments of levity and mutual support. During rest stops, they gathered to share meals, often cold rations and stories from home. Music became a cherished pastime. Harmonicas and guitars provided a respite from the stress of the road. These bonds were crucial in maintaining morale under such arduous conditions. The success of the Red Ball Express had an immediate and profound impact on the Allied campaign. General George S. Patton's Third Army, known for its rapid and aggressive tactics, was able to sustain its momentum thanks to the continuous flow of supplies. Fuel delivered by the convoys kept tanks and armored vehicles operational. Ammunition resupplied artillery units, enabling them to support infantry advances and repel counterattacks. One significant battle, where the Red Ball Express proved indispensable, was the liberation of Paris. As Allied forces closed in on the French capital, the need for a sustained supply line was critical. The convoys ensured that frontline units had the necessary resources to press forward, leading to the city's liberation on August 25, 1944. The same day, the Red Ball Express was officially established. The psychological boost from freeing Paris invigorated the Allied forces and weakened German morale. Another crucial engagement was the Battle of the Falaise Pocket. In August 1944, Allied forces encircled a large concentration of German troops near Falaise. The encirclement aimed to cut off and destroy the German 7th Army and 5th Panzer Army, preventing them from retreating and regrouping. The Red Ball Express was vital in supplying the forces executing this maneuver. The success of the operation led to substantial German losses and significantly diminished their capacity to defend occupied France. As the Allies pushed towards the German border, the logistical demands increased. The Siegfried Line, Germany's defensive fortification, posed a formidable obstacle. Supplying troops with the equipment needed to breach these defenses, such as explosives, bridging materials, and heavy artillery, was essential. Despite the extended distances and worsening weather conditions, the Red Ball Express rose to the challenge. The onset of winter brought new hardships. The infamous Battle of the Bulge in December 1944 saw German forces launch a surprise offensive through the Ardennes forest. The weather was brutal. Snow, ice, and sub-zero temperatures turned roads into treacherous paths. Visibility was poor, and the risk of accidents increased. Nonetheless, the drivers persevered. Supplies were urgently needed to reinforce besieged units and repel the German advance. Their efforts contributed significantly to the eventual Allied victory in the last major German offensive on the Western Front. The Red Ball Express was not without its costs. Accidents were frequent due to fatigue and hazardous conditions. The relentless schedule took a physical and mental toll on the drivers. Despite these challenges, the operation maintained an impressive level of efficiency. At its height, the Red Ball Express moved an average of 12,500 tons of supplies per day. The operation officially concluded on November 16, 1944, after 82 days of continuous service. By then, alternative supply methods had become viable. Railways were repaired, and pipelines like the Operation Pluto undersea pipeline were operational, reducing the reliance on truck convoys. In total, the Red Ball Express transported over 412,000 tons of material, a monumental achievement that underscored the critical role of logistics in warfare. The contributions of the African American soldiers in the Red Ball Express were significant, yet they remained largely unheralded at the time. Their dedication and performance challenged the prejudiced notions that had relegated them to support roles. The success of the operation provided a compelling argument for the integration of the U.S. Armed Forces, which would begin in earnest with President Harry S. Truman's Executive Order 9981 in 1948. The legacy of the Red Ball Express extends beyond its immediate impact on World War II. It highlighted the importance of logistical planning and execution in military operations, a lesson that continues to influence military strategy today. The operation demonstrated that mobility and supply lines are as crucial as combat tactics in determining the outcome of conflicts. In the decades following the war, the story of the Red Ball Express gained recognition. Documentaries, books, and interviews with veterans have brought their experiences to light. Monuments and memorials have been erected to honor their service. The National World War II Museum in New Orleans features exhibits dedicated to the Red Ball Express, ensuring that future generations understand these soldiers' vital role. Private First Class, Robert Johnson returned home after the war to a country still grappling with segregation and inequality. Yet, he carried with him the pride of contributing to a pivotal historical moment. "We did our part," he said. "We kept the wheels turning, and that made all the difference." The Red Ball Express serves as a powerful example of how ordinary individuals can accomplish extraordinary feats when united by a common purpose. The drivers faced adversity on multiple fronts, but remained unwavering in their commitment. Their story is a reminder of the diverse contributions that collectively led to the Allied victory in World War II. The Red Ball Express was more than just a supply operation. It was a crucial component of the Allied strategy that enabled the liberation of Western Europe from Nazi occupation. The dedication and hard work of its drivers, particularly the African American soldiers who formed its backbone, exemplified the often overlooked contributions that were essential to the war's outcome. Their legacy is one of resilience, teamwork, and the unyielding belief in a cause greater than oneself. The story of the Red Ball Express reminds us that behind every headline and historic milestone are countless individuals whose efforts make those achievements possible. It is a chapter of history that deserves recognition and remembrance, honoring the men who kept the wheels of victory turning.